Did you know that a top-secret mission, a daring resistance movement, and a surprising alliance all took place within one of the most overlooked and complex theatres of World War II? Buckle up, because today we're diving into the gripping story of the German invasion of Yugoslavia and the unexpected collaboration between German forces and some Serbian groups. If this caught your attention, you're in the right place. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you won't miss any of our exciting historical content. The road to invasion. To fully grasp the factors leading to the German invasion of Yugoslavia, we need to delve into the political climate of Europe in the late 1930s. Tensions were mounting, and the continent was teetering on the edge of a massive conflict. Yugoslavia, a diverse country made up of Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, and other ethnic groups, found itself in a precarious position. The nation was politically unstable due to its complex internal dynamics, and the leaders attempted to balance the competing interests of both Axis and Allied powers. Yugoslavia initially sought to maintain a neutral stance and avoid entanglements in military alliances. However, as World War II loomed large and the threats from neighbouring countries intensified, maintaining neutrality became increasingly difficult. The Yugoslav government was under immense pressure to choose a side, as both the Axis and Allied powers tried to secure alliances to strengthen their positions in the looming conflict. In March 1941, the Yugoslav government decided to join the Axis powers by signing the Tripartite Pact. This decision was motivated by a desire to secure protection and maintain stability in the face of escalating tensions. However, this move was met with widespread public disapproval and protests, as many Yugoslav citizens favoured the Allies or wished to remain neutral. This unrest led to a military coup on March 27, 1941, which overthrew the government that had signed the Tripartite Pact. The new government, led by General Dusan Simovic, declared its intention to maintain neutrality and distance itself from the Axis powers. This act of defiance did not sit well with Adolf Hitler, who viewed Yugoslavia as a crucial part of his strategic plans for southeastern Europe. For Hitler, it was essential to secure the Balkan region to support his future invasion of the Soviet Union, which was planned for June 1941. As a result of the coup and the new Yugoslav government's defiance, Hitler quickly ordered the invasion of Yugoslavia to bring the country back under the Axis sphere of influence. The German military prepared a swift invasion plan, codenamed Operation 25, which aimed to crush Yugoslav resistance and secure the region for the Axis powers. The stage was set for one of the most complex and overlooked theatres of World War II. The invasion begins. With the stage set for the invasion of Yugoslavia, the German military, along with its Axis allies, prepared for a swift and decisive campaign. The invasion commenced on April 6, 1941, with German forces launching a multi-pronged attack on Yugoslavia, supported by Italian, Hungarian, and Bulgarian troops. This coordinated assault aimed to rapidly overwhelm the Yugoslav military and bring the country under Axis control. Yugoslavia's military was ill-prepared for the scale and intensity of the invasion, hindered by a lack of modern equipment, inadequate training, and poor coordination among its units. The Yugoslav army struggled to mount an effective defense against the well-organized and well-equipped Axis forces. Moreover, the internal divisions and tensions within Yugoslavia's diverse population further hampered the nation's ability to unite against the common enemy. The German forces utilized the Blitzkrieg strategy, which relied on rapid, coordinated assaults by air and ground units. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, played a crucial role in the early stages of the invasion, launching a devastating bombing campaign against major Yugoslav cities, including the capital Belgrade. This aerial bombardment inflicted significant civilian casualties and caused considerable damage to the country's infrastructure. On the ground, German panzer divisions, supported by infantry and artillery units, pushed deep into Yugoslav territory. They bypassed the heavily fortified Yugoslav border defenses by exploiting weaknesses in the terrain and using the element of surprise to their advantage. The Axis forces advanced rapidly, often bypassing pockets of Yugoslav resistance to maintain their momentum and avoid getting bogged down in prolonged engagements. As the Axis forces continued to advance, the Yugoslav military found itself increasingly isolated and cut off from communication and supply lines. The leadership struggled to coordinate a cohesive defense, as units were often left to fend for themselves without clear orders or direction. Facing this overwhelming onslaught, the Yugoslav military ultimately capitulated on April 17th, just 11 days after the invasion began. In the aftermath of the invasion, Yugoslavia was carved up among the Axis powers, with different regions falling under the control of Germany, Italy, Hungary, and Bulgaria. The stage was now set for a complex and brutal occupation, as well as the emergence of various resistance movements and collaborations that would define the struggle for Yugoslavia during the remainder of World War II. Unexpected collaboration. As the Axis powers established control over the conquered Yugoslav territory, a surprising development unfolded. Certain Serbian nationalist groups who were ideologically opposed to the Yugoslav government saw an opportunity to work with the German occupiers to advance their own interests. These groups believed that collaboration with the Germans would help them gain more autonomy or even dominance in the region. One such group was the Chetniks, led by Draža Mihailović. The Chetniks were a Serbian nationalist and royalist organization that had initially been part of the Yugoslav army. However, after the Axis invasion, they saw the chaotic situation as a chance to promote their political goals, which included establishing a greater Serbia. This unexpected alliance was far from straightforward, as the Chetniks were not wholly committed to collaborating with the Germans. They maintained a complex relationship with the occupiers, providing assistance at times while also engaging in resistance activities. For example, some Chetnik units would provide intelligence or logistical support to the Germans, while others would launch guerrilla attacks against the occupiers or even work with the Allied forces. The motivations behind this collaboration varied among the Chetniks. Some believed that working with the Germans was a pragmatic decision that would allow them to gain power and influence in post-war Yugoslavia. Others saw the Yugoslav government as more oppressive towards the Serbian population than the German occupiers, and hoped that cooperation would bring about a better situation for the Serbs. However, the collaboration between the Chetniks and the Germans was not without consequences. As the war continued and the Chetniks' actions became more widely known, they faced increasing criticism and condemnation from both the Yugoslav population and the international community. Many viewed their collaboration with the enemy as a betrayal of their country and their fellow citizens. Ultimately, the Chetniks' collaboration with the Germans was a complex and controversial aspect of the Yugoslav theatre of World War II. It highlights the intricate web of alliances, motivations, and strategic calculations that can emerge in times of conflict, revealing that the lines between friend and foe are not always clear-cut. Resistance movement. In the face of the Axis occupation of Yugoslavia and the collaboration of certain groups like the Chetniks, a powerful and united resistance movement emerged. This movement was spearheaded by the Partisans, a communist-led group under the command of Josip Broz Tito. The Partisans represented a broad coalition of Yugoslav citizens from various ethnic and social backgrounds, all united in their determination to resist the occupying forces and fight for their country's freedom. The Partisans employed guerrilla warfare tactics, using their knowledge of the local terrain and their mobility to launch surprise attacks on the Axis forces and their collaborators. They targeted enemy supply lines, infrastructure, and communication networks, aiming to disrupt the occupiers' ability to maintain control over the territory. Their hit-and-run tactics proved highly effective, forcing the Axis powers to divert significant resources and manpower to deal with the ongoing resistance. As the Partisans' reputation for successful resistance grew, so did their numbers and the support they received from the Yugoslav population. Many people saw the Partisans as the embodiment of a true, united Yugoslav resistance and were inspired by their dedication and bravery in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. This popular support was essential to the Partisans' ability to sustain their operations, as it provided them with vital supplies, intelligence, and new recruits. The partisans' efforts also attracted the attention of the Allied powers, who recognized the strategic value of supporting a strong resistance movement in Yugoslavia. Over time, the Allies began to provide the partisans with material aid, including weapons, ammunition, and medical supplies. This assistance was often delivered through daring airdrops or covert missions, as the Allies sought to bolster the partisans' capacity to resist the Axis occupation. In addition to material support, the Allies also provided the partisans with valuable intelligence, training, and even direct military assistance on occasion. The relationship between the partisans and the Allies grew stronger as the war progressed, eventually resulting in the establishment of formal diplomatic ties between the two. The relentless resistance of the partisans played a significant role in undermining the Axis powers' grip on Yugoslavia, causing the occupiers to expend considerable resources in their attempts to suppress the uprising. The partisans' success in maintaining a persistent and effective resistance movement demonstrated the resilience and determination of the Yugoslav people in their fight for freedom from occupation. The war's end. By 1944, the tide of the war was beginning to turn against the Axis powers. The Soviet Red Army had launched a massive offensive in Eastern Europe, gradually pushing the German forces westward. As the Soviets advanced, they also provided support to the partisans in Yugoslavia, recognizing their importance as a formidable resistance movement. The partisans, bolstered by their collaboration with the Soviet Red Army, intensified their efforts against the Axis occupiers. Their joint operations disrupted enemy supply lines, weakened their defenses, and gradually pushed them out of Yugoslav territory. This cooperation played a crucial role in liberating the country from Axis control. By the end of 1944, the partisans had succeeded in liberating most of Yugoslavia, and as the final months of the war unfolded, they established a new communist government under the leadership of Josip Broz Tito. The government, backed by the military might of the partisans, began the process of rebuilding and consolidating power in the war-ravaged country. The German invasion of Yugoslavia during World War II and the subsequent collaboration with Serbian nationalist groups like the Chetniks paint a complex and captivating picture of the conflict. It serves as a reminder that history is often more intricate and nuanced than it may appear on the surface, with unexpected alliances and morally ambiguous decisions arising in times of crisis. The story of Yugoslavia's resistance, particularly the partisans, demonstrates the strength and determination of a diverse population united against a common enemy. Their successful resistance campaign and eventual liberation of their homeland reveal the power of unity and cooperation in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.